straight to the brand new numbers showing a dramatically tightened race for the White House.
According to an ABC News Washington Post poll released overnight, Donald Trump holds a 2-point lead, 46-44 over Hillary Clinton. Now, this is quite a flip because as recently as March, Clinton was leading Trump by 9 points.
Both of these candidates have real challenges going forward. 60% of Americans view Trump unfavorably. For Clinton, that number is 53%. That makes this a race between two of the most unpopular likely presidential candidates since we started conducting these polls decades ago.
They're both certainly very polarizing. Still, it's clear that Trump has the momentum right now, with Republicans lining up behind him. This while Clinton deals with a still unsettled situation in her own party, with Bernie Sanders telling our George Stephanopoulos he is staying in the race. We're going to hear from George in just a moment, but we start here with ABC's Mary Bruce, who is in Washington for us this morning. Hi, Mary.
Hi, good morning. Well, now that he's the presumptive nominee, Republican voters are unifying behind Donald Trump and behind one common goal: defeating Hillary Clinton. This morning, Hillary Clinton is striking back.
If you want to imagine what Trump's America will look like, picture more kids at risk of violence and bigotry.
Speaking at a Trayvon Martin Foundation event for mothers who've lost children to gun violence, Clinton condemned Trump's position on guns.
This is someone running to be president of the United States of America, a country facing a gun violence epidemic, and he's talking about more guns in our schools.
This after Trump locked up the endorsement of the NRA.
Crooked Hillary Clinton is the most anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment candidate ever to run for office. She wants to abolish the Second Amendment. She wants to take your guns away.
New lines of attack as Trump is getting a bump from Republicans lining up behind their presumptive nominee. Trump and Clinton are now in a dead heat among registered voters, according to a new ABC News Washington Post poll. Bill Clinton is urging voters to help end Hillary's grueling primary fight.
She needs to go into that convention with the wind in her back. She needs to say what she believes, which is that at least she and Senator Sanders have had the right debate in this country.
Trump has work to do, too, especially with Hispanic voters.
National Hispanic Christian. 3 great words.
Upping his outreach in this video message to a California gathering of Hispanic evangelical leaders.
We're going to take care of you. We're going to work with you. You're going to be very happy. You're going to like President Trump.
Now, as the gap between them closes, there is something else bringing Trump and Clinton together. Both are wildly disliked. In fact, they are the two most unpopular presidential candidates in the history of our polling. Dan?
Thank you, Mary. For more on all of this, let's bring in ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos, who's going to be hosting This Week later this morning right here on ABC.
Good morning,
sir. So let's start with this new poll. For a long time, the conventional wisdom was that if Donald Trump became the nominee, whoever he faced would beat him handily. That is clearly not the case, according to this new poll. So what's going on?
It's a real race right now, and it's largely because if you've noticed over the last several weeks since Ted Cruz dropped out and the Republican race basically ended, Donald Trump has done a pretty good job of bringing the Republican Party together, and you see that in the poll. Most Republicans now say they're going to get behind him and support him in the fall. He's also picked up, and this is an interesting swing that could be significant for the fall. He's reversed his deficit among independent voters. He now has a double-digit lead over Hillary Clinton among independents. If that holds, he's got a great chance of winning.
And Hillary Clinton, meanwhile, is fighting this two-front battle because Bernie Sanders is telling you that he's not getting out of the race. You've got an exclusive interview with him coming up on your show this morning. Let's take a sneak peek here.
We need a campaign, an election coming up, which does not have two candidates who are really very, very strongly disliked. I don't want to see the American people voting for the lesser of two evils. I want the American people to be voting for a vision of economic justice, of social justice, of environmental justice, of racial justice. That is the campaign we are running, and that's why we are getting the support we are.
Is that how you would describe Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump, the lesser of two evils?
Well, if you look, no, I wouldn't describe it, but that's what the American people are saying.
How big a problem is Bernie Sanders for Hillary Clinton at
right
this
now?
point?
It's definitely holding her back. There's just no question about it, right? If you look at the poll again, 15% of people who voted for President Obama over Mitt Romney in 2012 are now supporting Donald Trump, not Hillary Clinton. And another startling finding, we know that Bernie Sanders is very strong among millennials, 18 to 29-year-olds. That's a group that he does well with, that Barack Obama had a huge advantage with in 2012. Right now, Hillary Clinton is only even with Donald Trump among 18 to 29-year-olds. Now, that also points up an opportunity for her as well. If, when this race is over, Bernie Sanders gets behind her, the Democratic Party unifies again, you could see the kind of bounce for Hillary Clinton that Donald Trump got once the Republican race effectively ended.
But if you look at this poll, you also see some big problems for Donald Trump. 58% say Trump is unqualified to be president. 76% say he doesn't show enough respect for those with whom he disagrees. Many people also say he needs to release his tax returns. How big are these challenges for him?
These are the vulnerabilities that Hillary Clinton is going to hammer home, that he doesn't have the temperament to be president. You can't trust him in the Oval Office. So he's going to have to help himself on those numbers if he's going to be competitive in November.
George Stephanopoulos, thank you. And I want to remind everybody, George has a big show this morning. You can see much more of his one-on-one with Bernie Sanders coming up on This Week later this morning right here on ABC. George, thanks again.